Hey guys, Apocalypso here, back with episode 14 of Extreme AI Matchups. And, yeah, so,
什么？
so it's, in the blue we have Chen King Ji as the Chinese. Then the red we have, uh, Kuneta Weedig as the Celts. And I probably totally butchered that pronunciation. What's the map? Yucatan. So this is a Mesoamerican or Central American themed map. As you can see, it has clumps of trees and lots of turkeys actually, lots of deer, and then these tiny bodies of water which really don't do anything. I don't think they have any fish. Yeah, they're just there to get in the way. But let let's uh let's go over the bonuses. Okay, so the Chinese are an archer civilization. So they start with plus 3 villagers, minus 50 wood, and minus 200 food. Now, 200 food is the normal amount of food that you start with, which means you will not have any food at the beginning of the game. But you have an extra 3 villagers that you can do with whatever you want. Now, having an extra 3 villagers is a huge advantage because you don't have to take the time to actually create those villagers. And so if you utilize the bonus properly, you can be ahead of your opponent by a significant amount pretty early in the game. But remember, you start with 50 less wood and you start with no food. So there is a trade-off. If it was just straight 3 villagers with no drawbacks, it would be completely broken. So that's what they had to do, but it's still a useful bonus if you do it correctly, if you use it correctly. So technologies cost 10% minus 10% in feudal, minus 15% in castle, minus 20% in imperial age. Now technologies are used for everything pretty much. I I don't know if it counts for upgrades, but like husbandry, you got a lot of technologies. You know what a technology is. All this, all that. Point is, do you need technologies to do any kind of significant upgrade to your units? And in the Imperial Age, you've got a significant discount. But even in the Feudal and Castle Age, you've still got a major discount, which is really helpful, I would say. And that's definitely a great bonus for sure. Now, it helps tech into their expensive units. Like they have, I need to find some expensive units. Like they have bombard towers. And you have bombard towers. You have to research your technology to get that, and you have to research chemistry to get the technology for bombard tower. So that's a very that's a expensive technology, but it's really strong. And you have rocketry, which is pretty decent. But my point is, you've got all these technologies that are pretty strong and will actually help you get your stronger units out or make your regular units just stronger in general. So that's I've already talked enough about that bonus. So that's just how helpful it is. Town centers support 10 population and +5 line of sight. Now the reason they support 10 population is because you would immediately need to build a house right away if you didn't have that bonus, because you would have way more than 5 villagers. Yeah. So I think you'd start with 3 villagers, so you'd have like you'd have 7 population. So you'd have to build a house right away if you didn't have that bonus. And of course, it has extra line of sight, which is helpful. But I'd say when you're rebuilding, when you're building another town center, like another base, or just for within your within your main base, having that extra population space from the town centers is helpful, I would say. And demolition chips plus 50% hit points. Uh, Not really helpful on a you know on a land map, but the fact they have, I think, double, or not double HP, but I think that would be 100%. No, they have 1.5 times the HP that they normally do, and that's helpful because demolition ships are hard countered by galleys because they need to be up close to do damage, and galleys attack at range. So having that extra health helps them to get to their target sooner. And if that happens to be a galley, well, your opponent might be in for a bad time. So, team bonus is farms have plus 10% food. Now, I would say that's useful because you don't need to reseed your farms as soon. So, you save wood. Wood is needed for archers, so it is indirectly a military bonus, for sure. So, the unique unit is the Chukonu. It says Chinese unique archer with rapid fire attack. Strong versus infantry, weak versus archers and siege weapons. So this unit's actually really awesome when it's massed. It's just so strong. There are just so many arrows firing all at once. It is insane. And it deals so much damage like so quickly. It is absolutely insane. It actually shreds straight through battering rams, because I believe the secondary arrows do like, I think they do zero they do zero melee damage, and battering rams have negative melee armor. So that means they actually take extra damage from those arrows as a side effect. So that's actually very useful against battering rams, because battering rams are usually not phased by archers at all. But these archers just tear right through them. Yeah, so that's basically the Chukonu. I hope we'll get to see it in this battle, in this episode. Maybe we will. I hope we do, because it is an awesome unit. So the unique techs, where are they? No, I passed them already. Uh, Great Wall, fitting enough. Makes your walls and towers stronger by giving them plus 30% hit points. That's pretty self-explanatory. Stronger walls, stronger towers, great for defense. And they have keeps and bombard towers, so they're actually pretty decent in terms of defense. Uh, they do have architecture, so it's another. And they have heated shots, so they're actually pretty decent with defenses. And they have extra hit points because of this technology, which is that's useful. What else can I say? So rocketry. Shukonu have plus 2 piercing attack. Now that sounds a little confusing. Scorpions have +4 piercing attack. What they mean by piercing attack is they just mean extra attack, but it does pierce damage. I guess they specified because Chukonu also have that 0 melee damage from the secondary arrows. But yeah, that's basically what it means. They just Chukonu have extra 2 attack and Scorpions have +4. So that's what it means. Not any more confusing than that. Anyway, so Celts. They are an infantry and siege civilization. Infantry move 15% faster starting in the Feudal Age. Now, they're not going to be any faster in the Dark Age, probably to discourage uh, militia rushes more than usual. They would be too strong otherwise. But faster infantry, it's helpful for raiding, although they're still not anywhere close. They're not anywhere close to the level of knights, believe me. But they're still the fastest infantry in the game. Now, they don't have squires. Squires makes infantry 10% faster. So this bonus is actually better than technology. So for any civilization with squires, the Celts are always going to have infantry that is 5% faster, which is useful for trying to escape engagements against other infantry. And just escaping in general, you're more likely to escape with your infantry intact as the Celts than as any other civilization because their infantry is slower. So faster moving infantry is helpful, and they get to their target sooner, so they aren't as vulnerable to archers, which is another side effect. But they're still pretty weak though to archers. Lumberjacks work 15% faster. Now, this is actually very important because Celts have almost a complete siege tech tree. They're only missing the bombard cannon. And since they have such a heavy wood cost, if the Celts didn't have the faster working lumberjacks, you would not be able to get those very powerful siege weapons out nearly as quickly. So I think they were historically actually very good woodworkers, but there isn't any historical evidence that they were particularly good in siege. That's just made up for the game. But regardless, the lumberjack bonus is historical. So then siege weapons move 25% faster. No, not move. They fire 25% faster. Sorry. Now, that's useful for scorpions because they have a minimum range. Well, mangonels have a minimum range too. And they also damage even friendly units. So they're they're really useful though because they actually do a lot of damage. And they're very effective against bunched up units in a way that scorpions are not. So, but they do fire 25% faster, and I do not believe that applies to the battering ram, but I would have to find out. But that bonus is obviously helpful because it means you have faster firing siege weapons, so that they do more damage per second, and they're not quite as vulnerable as they were before. So that's helpful. Now, the final bonus is very confusing. They can steal sheep, and sheep within 1 Celt unit's line of sight cannot be stolen. Now, this is actually a really confusing bonus because Basically, the last part of the bonus is true for every civilization by default, because sheep cannot be stolen if any of your units are within the sheep's line of sight. Or actually, no. If the sheep is within at least one of your unit's line of sight, it won't be stolen by enemy players. So that is true by default. Somehow the bonus ended up being transcribed into the original game and the manual as that, but that's not at all what it means, because that's true by default. But the first part, can steal sheep, is actually reflective of what the bonus does. Basically, if you have a scout or any unit, but I'm going to use a scout for this example. Say you have a scout and he comes across some sheep. They're in the enemy base, but because the scout is within the line of sight of those sheep are now his. And that is a very, very, very potent bonus. It can be used for laming like so much, and your opponent probably won't even see it coming. Suddenly they have no sheep left because your scouts stole them all, and not really much they can do about that. So sucks to be them, I guess. But that's what it does. Anyway, the team bonus: siege workshops work 25%, not 20, not 25%, 20% faster. I think it used to say 25%. No, no, it's always said 20%. So now that applies to the team. So that's useful for other siege civilizations like the Bohemians, or I believe the Koreans, Ethiopians, other siege civilizations. Uh, they have 25. I keep saying 25. 20% faster working siege workshops. Now that's helpful because the siege weapons tend to take a long time to get created. So it just helps mass them even faster. So I think that's. Oh wait, no, I forgot to talk about the unique unit and the text. I gotta do that. Uh, okay, so World Raider, Celtic unique infantry units. Fast moving, strong versus infantry and siege weapons, weak versus archers and cavalry. Now, it's no longer the fastest infantry unit. That title now goes to the Eagle Warrior, but it is still a significantly tankier unit than the Eagle Warrior. It is basically comparable to a standard swordsman, but it's a lot faster. I I think I think it actually is faster than an Eagle Warrior without squires, but it's almost as fast as one with squires. I remember Spirit of the Law saying that in his Civ overview. Uh, so they are a very fast infantry unit. But unlike the Eagle Warriors, they're actually good all around units because the Eagle Warriors don't have a lot of melee armor, not that much attack, so they're more specialized. But the Celt, the World Raider, they they're much better. They're more rounded. They're closer to being a replacement for the swordsman line, whereas the Eagle Warrior was more of a replacement for scouts and knights. But teching into both of them is very expensive, so it's generally wise to go with one or the other. And World Raiders are generally the better pick because they're stronger or just as strong and faster, so they're generally a better choice. So their first unique technology is Stronghold. Makes your castles and towers stronger by making them fire 25% faster. This is a marginally useful technology, I would say. Not as useful as it could be, but it's certainly not as useful as Great Wall. But it is still a moderately useful uni-tech and a defensive tech at that. It's, I mean, they already have, castles already have decent attack, and the Celts have arrow slits, so their towers are going to do even more damage. So I guess just them firing faster is just the cherry on top, but it doesn't have that much of an impact, which is why it's pretty cheap. So if your Celtica is the Imperial Age unique tech. It is Siege Workshop units have plus 40% hit points. Back in the day, this used to be plus 50%, and that was just utterly insane. But basically, your siege your siege weapons, other than the trebuchet, because it's not a siege workshop unit, they're much tankier. And I believe that means that Celt siege onagers are the best in the game because they fire the fastest, they are trained the fastest, and they have the most HP. So they are some of the best siege onagers in the game, if not the best siege onagers in the game. So certainly a very useful siege bonus. But let's continue. I've already gone on long enough. Holy cow, I've been going on for like 20 minutes. I don't know how I can keep going on about this stuff. I know what you guys came here for. You came to see the gameplay, so let's show it off. So, making use of those extra villagers. I think they went immediately on the turkeys. Alright. There. That was an interesting picking. Not sure what that was about. Okay, the Celts have started going on the berries. Their Chinese have also started going on the berries. Doing a weird dance. Let's see what that looks like. He decided to do a little moonwalking. No, that wasn't moonwalking. He just decided to do like some kind of Michael Jackson dance or something. There is an actual glitch in the game called moonwalking. It's still in the game because it's funny. I think fans would be very upset if it was removed. Okay, so now he's on wood. He's also on wood, but he has 2 lumber camps, making use of that bonus. Okay. So almost a feudal age. Ooh, Celts are already starting to make a barracks, and they already have some villagers on gold. So, very interesting. Ooh, these guys are gonna get stolen. Here we go. Yeah, that was pretty satisfying. He's also building barracks, but it's not as far along. Yeah, this one's almost done. So, he's building right in the middle for some reason. I don't know if he wants to farm there. It's too late now. Now he's in the feudal age. Okay? He just got to the feudal age. Okay, cool. So not much is happening right now. Oh, he's starting gold, but he doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have a mining camp or anything, which is terribly inefficient. He's starting farms, building an archer range. Makes sense. He's an archer civ. He also has an archer range. What are the Celts archers like? Celt archers are not that good, but they have heavy cavalry archers for some reason. I'm not sure why. And the Celts do have paladins. They have pretty decent cavalry, but the Chinese have camels, so the Celts might not want to get too heavily invested in cavalry because the Chinese camels can just mop them up. Another. He doesn't appear. He doesn't appear to have seen that. Oh, Oh, yeah, yeah. Haha. There's that bonus. I think that was the bonus. Now that was funny. Alright. Yeah. Ooh. Well, he's making some archers, it looks like. He's building blacksmith. Very interesting. Yes, some more people on gold. I think the Celts' game plan here is to go skirmishers, because they do have elite skirmishers, and they have... Okay, they don't have any decent archers. Archer armor attack or anything like that, or range. Uh, so it's hard to know what strategy the Celts could go with here. They could go for cavalry, but like I said, the Chinese would just use camels. But then the Celts could potentially go with... They could go with halberdiers to counter those camels. So I think that would be their best bet there to get all those unit counters going. Interesting, the Chinese are going for a mixture of archers and skirmishers right now. So, building another lumber camp. I really like the Asian architecture set. I like the watermill. That I love it so much. The animation is just so smooth. There's just something really peaceful about watermills. I'm sorry, I could gush about the architecture in this game for like so long. I love the little bamboo that like all these buildings have. It just makes it feel even more Asian. Anyway, okay, so building another archery range. Now that makes 3. That would make 3 archery ranges. Okay, so cool. Yeah. So currently nobody is doing anything right now. What are the Celts making? What are the Celts making? I gotta say, the Celt and Asian, or the East Asian, Western European feudal age buildings actually look kind of similar at first glance, because of the color. But the Celts are sending their army forward. I'm not sure how the Chinese are going to handle this here. It's a very good question. Oops. Hold up. Let me change a setting here. I'm going to change a setting. There we go. Alright, so I'm not sure. Oh, they're doing a raid. They're doing a raid, alright. Alright, oh, okay, now they're sending out their archer units. And they have more skirmishers, I believe, so I think they're gonna win this. Unless... No, the Celts seem to be winning this, actually. No, I think it could go either way. The Scout seems to be getting involved. Not in a useful way, though. Okay, so this is actually... The Celts have been successfully... they've been successfully stopped. Alright. Well, that was interesting. They have another secret archer range up here. I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't know why they built it all the way up there. But it appears they're trying to rebuild their army back. Alright. Is anybody on the way to the Castle Age? A good question. No. Okay, well that scout died. Oh, Celts are creating a unit now. Creating units in the barracks. What? They're creating spearmen. Very interesting. I'm not sure what would prompt them to do that because there hasn't been any cavalry whatsoever aside from the scout, but they just felt they wanted to make spearmen for some reason. Whatever floats your boat. And that scout seems to be doing a little dance too. Man, this is like karaoke hour or something. What is this, Saturday Night Fever? I made a Bee Gees joke 2 episodes in a row. Was it last? I think it was last episode I made a Bee Gees reference. This one I made a reference to Saturday Night Fever. Okay. I must have Bee Gees on the brain. Watchtower, interesting choice. Building market. I'm not sure why they're building a market. Maybe it's just for buying and selling resources. That would be my guess. We have another windmill over here. I like that windmill. Very Thomas-y, if that makes any sense at all. Oh, what? Hello, what was going on here? Okay, this wood line is gonna get raided. Okay, here we go. The two armies are gonna clash once again. The rebuilt Celt army versus the already victorious Chinese army. And, well, I can't say it's good for the Celt army. Yeah, it is definitely not looking good for the Celt army. Wait a minute. The Chinese army doesn't see. Now the Chinese army is retreating, even though they had a pretty good advantage. 12 versus 12, equal size armies. Okay, so now they're building another town center, and what are the Chinese gonna do? Oh, they have a stable. What are they gonna be doing with that? They're both in the castle age now, so this is where boys become men, pretty much. In most games, if you can't close the game out by the castle age, you're gonna have a hard time You're gonna have a hard time winning. That's why so many pro players end up beating the game in early mid castle age to early imperial age at the latest. Because if you wait longer than that, it's gonna be hard to close out the game most of the time. Okay, so now they're sending in knights, which is very interesting. So I think making the spearmen may have actually been a pretty good choice after all. Although I don't know if they even have any spearmen left. So okay, so now their skirmishers are coming back. They're also building a second town center. Very interesting. They've upgraded to elite. These guys have not upgraded to elite, so they're at a disadvantage here, I would say. Okay, the knights are going to help clean things up, for sure. Knights are very good against ranged units because of their pierce armor. Okay, so what the Celts are going to want to do is they're going to want to prioritize spearmen, I would say, like they're doing right now. Okay, the spearman and the knight both die at the same time. How many villagers is in there? 4 villagers, but they don't have murder holes. They don't have murder holes because I don't think they have a university. So, yeah. So that. Oh, the town center is also firing. Okay, that's very interesting. So it negates the lack of murder holes somewhat, I would say. But right now, it's still not going well for the Celts. because they're being stupid and not making, they're not massing up spearmen. I think they're just like sending them out one by one, which is something AI likes to do for some reason. I don't know why, but doesn't seem to realize that garrisoning your units in your building as they're being created and massing them up that way is actually a much better way of creating them. But it is what it is. These are just AI after all. Anyway, so what are the Chinese up to? That is the question of the year, I would say. A lot of people are wondering. A lot of people are wondering what the Chinese are up to. Uh, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to talk about what they're doing in the game. Hello? What's going on here? I guess that knight got a little greedy. But it's not really going to cost him because he has that hype here. So. Okay, now it's really going to cost him because, hello? Yeah, you just died, you idiot. You deserved it. You got greedy. But now all these other knights are coming by, and they're probably going to... Some of them are probably going to die. Yeah, okay. We got 2 spearmen now. Spearmen, even though they're not that great against knights, they were still enough to deter these knights. So, very interesting. This forward stable is definitely helping here. It's not much distance between this stable and this town center. So, are either of them going to build monasteries and collect relics? That's a good question. I don't know. They probably will do it eventually. I really like the Western European monastery. There it is. I think I've gushed about it in an earlier episode. I actually think this is the last civilization in the series with this architecture, so we're not going to see this architecture in the series again. So you better make it count. Okay, so the knights are back again. So, what is happening? Okay, now they've upgraded pikemen. Very interesting. What are the Celts making? They actually are massing up units by garrisoning them in the barracks, which is something I said they didn't do earlier, but they do that. Okay, I just heard someone collect a relic. Where was it? Yeah, that was there. What's going on? Hello, okay. Yeah, these pikemen are trying to do something against these knights. They're only gonna be moderately successful because of the numbers advantage. Yeah. That was not a smart use of pikemen there. Fortunately, that pikeman was spared. Okay, I'm not quite entirely sure what happened. I kind of zoned out there. Wow, that's a lot of villagers. They're gonna do a lot of damage against these knights. They're starting to mass up pikemen now. At least, I think they're trying to. Now they're starting to counter with knights of their own.
Kid?
And this guy's finally gonna get to the monastery. Okay, it's not going well. The Chinese aren't even going for... They're going for knights, which is a very weird choice for them. Because, if I remember correctly... their cavalry isn't that great. They only have light cavalry, they only have cavalier. What's their cavalry tech like? Actually, they have a full blacksmith, so their cavalry isn't that bad. But I would say that archers are definitely more their style because they have Arbalester and they have rocketry and all that. It's just holy cow, there's a bunch of units spazzing out here. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, they must have a relic now too. Where's the monastery? There's the monastery. I like this monastery too. What's going on here? Those units are just standing there. I don't know why they're just standing there. That's very stupid. So now the Chinese are on their way to the Imperial Age. Okay, what's gonna happen here? I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Ah! That villager refused to go inside that town center, so she died. I guess that's what you get. Ooh, they have quite the sizable army of knights now. And they have like holy cow. A lot of lag. Holy cow, what's causing this? They have at least four archery ranges. Probably more. Ooh, they're building a castle now. Are we going to see Chukanu? I hope we see Chukanu. What's going on here? Are the Celts building castles at all? I don't know. Okay, another relic for the Chinese. Cool. I like the Imperial Age Asian architecture. It's very cool. I like a lot of the original architecture in this game and some of the new architecture too. The heck? What's going on? Somebody's being converted somewhere, I don't know where. Oh, hello. Okay, so they're going for scorpions. Holy cow, what is this lag? That is a lot of lag. Hopefully it'll get better. So building another stable. Okay, that castle. They have two castles, and they are building and they are creating Chukanu. So we'll get to see those. This is what they cool. This is what they look like. They're pretty cool. These seem to be created pretty quickly too, so definitely useful for messing them up. Okay, so all these guys. Okay. Very interesting. They are actually going aggressive against this town center. And these villagers are getting continually denied. They're building a barracks, 2 barracks, and a house. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I'd say this is actually pretty interesting. They're building a castle of their own. We're gonna see world raiders. Okay. Oh, the Chukanus got killed by the well, that doesn't bode well for them. As I was saying, the Chukanus got killed by the pikemen. Yeah, Celts do get halberdiers. I remember seeing that. They just have an upgrade to... Yeah, they are in the Imperial Age, so... Okay, here we go. Here they are in action. Now, Chukanu, regular Chukanus shoot they fire 3 arrows, but elite Chukanu fire 5. They just got killed, so you didn't get to really see that. Okay, here's some more of them. Oh wow, okay. All right. You'll get to see how much damage they do. I hope. They're pretty high damage, I would say. This is a lot of noise. Anyway, as you can see, these these scorpions are getting pretty easily taken out by the Chukanus. So their high arrow count is definitely helping out here. And the Celts are on the verge of defeat here. They build another castle. What are they hiding in that one castle? Bunch of villagers. Okay. If they were wise, they would create world raiders to defend against these siege rams. But oh wow. Okay, yeah. Siege rams are taking all the arrow fire while Chuganus are such a cool unit. They weren't actually very effective in real life, but they're highly effective here, for sure. I wonder what the noise level is like. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm gonna put it down just a little bit. Alright. Yeah, both castles are now down. And these villagers are gonna get sniped, I think. So it's not going well for the Celts, that's for sure. Okay, they were gonna build another castle there, but alright. Yeah, okay. Look at these units, they're just getting taken out like super fast by the Chukanus. Alright, yeah, so this game is just about won. Yeah, it's over. I think if the Celts had gone for more pikemen at the beginning of the game when the Chinese were focusing on knights, and then transitioned to skirmishers or their really good onagers against the archers, they probably would have had a chance. But that didn't happen, as you can see. So I don't really know what could have been done differently. I mean, other than that. So okay, let's see. Statistics, military, largest army, 101 versus 31. Yeah, this was definitely a slaughter for the Chinese. As it is historically speaking, even nowadays. Units killed, 325. Units lost, 132. Buildings raised, 29. Buildings lost, 4. The Celts managed to convert 6 units. That's pretty impressive. They collected most of all the resources. They had the highest research count, 44. Their bonus definitely helped out there. For sure. Society, villager high, 198. Now those 3 extra villagers at the beginning probably had something to do with it. They had like 40 more villagers as the villager high than the Celts. So the bonus at the beginning probably helped with that. Total castles 4 versus 2. Relics captured 2 versus 3. So, timeline. Villager. The Celts had a real chance here at this point. About 12 minutes. 12 minutes to 24 minutes into the game, when their army was roughly comparable in size to the Chinese. But then after that, it just dropped off. It started to grow again, but then the Chinese army really started growing, so then they just kind of dropped off, and then they lost. So that was the game. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope the noise wasn't too much. I need to figure out how to get my microphone louder and the game sound not as loud. Because I almost have to shout to actually make myself heard. So hopefully it wasn't too bad. Anyway, I guess I will see you in the next video, which may or may not be a special episode of this series, or it just may be a different video entirely. Anyway, I guess I'll see you in the next video, whatever that is, and peace.